Hello and welcome dear friends in new lecture of our course Health and Safety Management System. Still chapter 4 Health and Safety Management Element 3 Planning and Implementation. Last lecture we finished the third step of the risk assessment process and evaluate the risk and the control measures. And we know how to calculate the risk using the risk matrix. And today we continue with the step 4 of the risk assessment process, which is recording the findings. The significant findings of the risk assessment should be recorded to provide a statement of the hazards in the workplace and the extent of the risks that they present and the action taken to control those risks. And there are no standard format for the risk assessment. So different organizations can adopt a format that is most appropriate to their circumstances. The typical content would include identification of the activity or the area assessed and of the significant hazards. Also identification of the group at the risk and those especially at the risk, and the evaluation of the risks and the adequacy of the existing control measures, and actions planned for implementing further precautions needed, and the data of the assessment and the name of the competent person carrying out the assessment, also the review date. There are times when a risk assessment has to focus on one person or one specific group of workers because they are more vulnerable to particular hazards or they are at more risk. For example, young persons or pregnant women or women who are nursing, also disabled workers and lone workers. Lone workers are people who work entirely on their own for periods of time, or those who are not alone but are not with colleagues on whom they can rely for help. For example, a service engineer who spends 4 hours alone in a plant room servicing machinery is considered a lone worker. Also, lone workers are a group of workers who are especially vulnerable in certain instances. For example, they may be at more risk of violence, particularly if they are exposed to members of the public, and also they may be at more risk if they are injured or fall ill. And these situations of lone working may be inappropriate or additional precautions may be necessary to protect the individual. Going to last step of the risk assessment process, which is the risk assessment review. Do you remember in chapter 2 about the policy, when we spoke about reasons or when we have to review the policy? Actually, it's the same for the risk assessment. If the risk assessment is no longer valid, after a major or repeated accident, also after a major change in the organization, if a new technology is used or new process or new equipment, also as a result of a monitoring or reviewing performance, such as an audit, also periodically after a reasonable period of time. Here we are in the end of this lecture. Thanks for watching and see you in next lecture.